Hey guys, it's Opal here, and I'm here to do a tutorial on how to get this sort of blur soft lighting effect in Photoshop. So, first thing, I'm gonna just close out of this because we don't need that. So, I've decided to just use the same render, same background for the most part, just to make this tutorial a lot easier. So, the first thing you gotta do is drag your render here, drag it down to this new layer icon. So what it does is just makes a new layer. So when you drag it down, it duplicates the layer in the same spot. It's better than copy pasting because copy pasting off centers it, as you see, and this just makes it so they're all in the same spot, which makes it a lot easier. So don't touch this first layer. Then with the second layer, you're gonna right click, convert to smart object, then filter, Gaussian blur, and put it on 2.5. Gaussian blur, if you don't know what it is, it's filter, blur, Gaussian blur right there. So then with this third layer, oh, by the way, you're going to turn this opacity down to 50. That's important. I forgot to mention that. With this third layer, you're going to turn your opacity down to 10. Turn this to screen. And then click on one of the top or bottom. And then then hold shift and click the the lowest render or the highest render. So, and then not the background, and then just convert to smart object. So now it's all one smart object. Then what you're going to want to do is go to filter, magic bullet looks. If you don't have magic bullet looks already, look up a way to get it, or buy it, or whatever you want to do to get it, not my decision. Then you're going to open into this. You're going to want to add the main things to get this effect is, I don't even use this. You're going to use diffusion, chromatic aberration, and pop. Chromatic aberration is not as important as diffuse and pop, but it's nice to have. So we'll go through this quickly. Diffusion, basically, as you can see, it smooths out all the rough patches, makes it brighter if you use these settings, right? Then chromatic aberration, it might be hard to see my settings right now, but if I turn this, it's at 1.09. So if I turn this up, you can see how the red pops out. So yeah, I like to have these two higher than the green just because that looks nice to me. It's very hard to tell. It's a very small change. But anyways, then you're gonna go to pop. These are the settings, by the way. You're gonna go to pop, and as you can see, that really helps smooth everything out. It does, make it a little more contrasty, or whatever the word is to describe that. But that's why I have all these other settings. But you can tweak with those yourself. They'll show on screen as I turn them on. So if you want to copy them, go ahead. But they're not necessarily necessary for this effect. Then you're gonna hit finished, and it's gonna load for a second. Okay, once it's done loading, it should look something like this. And I'm quickly gonna just touch this. Once it's done, it should look like this. And I'm gonna quickly touch this up just so it doesn't look so dark. So, first thing you're gonna want to do is blur your background to 4.5 or more, not 45, 4.5 or more, just to make this stand out more. You're gonna want to add curves above it because it does look dark when you put it through magic bullet looks, with my settings at least. I don't know what everybody else runs. There are probably some people who can do it better. Not hue and saturation. And you're gonna go here, add vibrancy. I like to have my vibrancy and saturation fairly high, but not too high. And then go to your bottom layer, do the same thing, but only curves this time, and turn that down just so you're back. So this stands out a little bit more. Then you can add some inner glow, inner shadow, outer glow, just a nice effect that I like to have. It just looks better. You can tweak with those yourself. You don't want to make them too high or anything, but it just helps give that kind of like magical glow effect. Is kind of the best way I can describe it because I don't know what else to call this. Then what you're gonna want to do is click on the top or bottom layer. So if you're from the bottom, shift, click on the top, or if you're at the top, hold shift, click on the bottom. So you're just gonna, and then right click once they're all selected and convert to smart object. Doesn't need to be a smart object, but yeah. There's another option that says merge layers, and that works just as well. Okay, so now that you have this, I'm just gonna rename it layer, just because I want to. Then, usually when you open this in camera raw filter, you'll see the entire image. So let me show you really quick. If you go to transform, you'll see it'll basically look like this. And while that's fine and it doesn't matter, I don't like how it looks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually turn this into a smart object first. Make sure you do that, or else the glow is gonna, inner glow that we put on her is gonna show right here, which looks bad. Then you're gonna combine all of these into a smart object after. Then you're gonna hit Control A, Control V, just to paste it above. Sorry, Control A, Control C, Control V to paste the same thing above. You can see it's exactly the same. It shifts a little bit, but that really doesn't matter as long as it's centered like that. Then you're gonna hit Filter, Camera Raw Filter. And in Camera Raw Filter, you should always do this when you're making a thumbnail. It just makes it look a million times better. But for now, I'm not gonna go through all that because that's not necessary for this tutorial. All I'm showing right now is how to get the glow effect. So you can see it's already looking kind of, I don't know, softly lit. But then you're gonna want to turn your clarity down, which helps it so much. You don't want to do all this because then it looks very bad. Kind of super contrasted, sort of. But have it somewhere around the 30 to 40 range. I say 40 is a safe place. Maybe a little lower. But as you can see, if you put it on 0, it's a big difference. So somewhere around there. Dehaze, I like to trim this down a little bit too. This is what that does. If it's on max, it'll make it like more green and orangish. If you put it down to 0, I mean negative 100, it makes it like really blue. And it basically just like softens out the colors. And then I like to add a little bit more vibrance and saturation back since we took out a lot of color with clarity. So you're just going to want to mess around with that a little bit. Don't use these exact numbers because it can look a lot better if you put more time into it. I'm just doing this very quickly for the tutorial's sake. Adding more contrast back into it makes it look a lot better, just defines the colors a little bit more. Then you're going to hit OK. That's mostly the entire effect. If I come here and drag this in, it's on the render itself, it's pretty much the same effect. It does have more overlays, color corrections that you can add, but as you can see, that's pretty much what I did to get that effect. So if you did enjoy, leave a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. If you have any issues, comment. I'll be responding to as many as I can because there shouldn't be too many, and I'll try to help you out as soon as I see the comment. So yeah, subscribe, all that, share the video if you want to help people out, and I'll see you.